Individualizing an IEP can be so tough, but it doesn't have to be. That's exactly why I brought Alli from n2y over to the Special Education Inner Circle podcast. I'm your host, and I'm excited to talk today about all things n2y because there's so much that you guys deliver to our special education community. So Alli, thank you for being here today.
It is an honor. Hello, everybody. I'm happy to spend a little time with everybody.
Yeah, so we've been working together for a couple of years. Master IEP Coach, n2y, we're like, we've got some things in common. Let's work together and make sure that we're giving the best of the best stuff to parents, to teachers, and really have this team atmosphere, which is a challenge in special education. We're not going to pretend like it's all rose-colored glasses. This takes work. And one of the things that's hard is coming together and deciding how are we going to individualize a program for a student. So for those of you that are not familiar with n2y or unique curriculum, Alli, will you just give us like a quick overview of just what this is?
So absolutely. n2y is a company that we focus on the learning needs of students with unique learning needs. So what we do is we provide solutions, for instance, the unique learning system that will provide access to the general education curriculum and help them to reach and learn and master what's going on in general education curriculum for their grade level at extended standards. So it's a core, so it teaches reading, writing, science, social studies, all of those great things, but in differentiated supports so our students have success. And then we also offer other solutions. We have News to You, which provides access to current events for those who have reading deficits so they can understand what's going on in the world around them and communicate with others. We have L3 Skills, which is independent skills practice for students so they can really practice what they know. We also have communication aids. So we really are looking at the whole child and what they need. So we have communication aids. We have a consistent visual symbol library and a creation tool called Symbol Sticks Prime to help children with comprehension and communication. And then we also have positivity that helps with self-regulation and behavior, so they'll be ready to learn and they can deal with the external things that might be going on around them. And then we have a solution called Polaris. And Polaris is what it does is it takes all the great information that's going around in our students' performance, in their assessments, what our teams are seeing with observations, and pulls it together to help an IEP team really make a good plan for success for a student, to really help them reach those outcomes. And again, with our team, that includes everybody that should be in an IEP team. So everybody's active in that solution, including our parents and our students.
Yeah. So for all the parents that are listening and you're like, how do I get this? This is for the school, but anybody who's been in the school system for a while, we know that parents have a huge voice. So if you're listening to this and you're like, my school doesn't have this, don't click on to the next episode. Listen and hear what we have, because you might be able to introduce this to your school and share with them. If you're a teacher, you're like, I've heard of it, but my school won't get it. You know what? You never know what might happen. So let's listen to some of these options and some things, because a lot of times people say no, or schools say no, or they don't have solutions because they don't really know what they are. So I want to chat a bit about Polaris, because that is, when you guys put this out there, I was like, yes. And if you guys don't have access to Polaris, the things we're going to talk about are going to help you too. Yes. The difference is that Polaris is like all set up, like click some things and you're ready to go. If you're doing it on your own, it is more labor intensive. Like Polaris made this easy. So one of the things that you talked about was parent surveys. And if we're going to individualize an IEP, and I teach this all the time in the Master IEP Coach mentorship, we got to start with a parent vision. We got to figure out what do the parents want. So explain a little bit about some of the bells and whistles, some of the things that you guys decided to do about parent surveys.
Absolutely. So when we think about making a good IEP plan, the most important thing is to set it up for success by ensuring that all the team participates from the beginning. And one of the ways that we can do that is really supporting and informing our parents by asking them, what's important for them, what do they see for their child, what do they want for their child, what are areas and opportunities that they would like to see worked on. And one of the best ways or easiest ways to help support that is through a survey or gaining information directly from the parent. So again, this is going to be helpful for everybody. We want to make them feel comfortable and welcomed and an active participant right off the bat. It really helps us succeed all the way through. So with our parent surveys inside of Polaris, we're asking those questions, but we also realize that based on their child's age, their needs may change. So we've actually tailored parent surveys for particular age groups. So we have them for our younger preschool age, we have it for our elementary age, and then we also have for secondary because their needs are different. And what inside Polaris, what happens is as an IEP team, you may see value in having that sent out to our parents. The parent's an active member of the team, so they can log in, they see their survey, they fill it out. Based on the results, what then happens is Polaris will take all that information and start making recommendations. So based on that, what types of assessments may be helpful to get baselines on these areas that our parents are interested in? What kind of present levels or information do we have from other solutions that also get pulled into Polaris that will help us make good present levels of performance? And then on the other side of it, if depending on what areas of concern the parent has, it'll pull in performance data from all of those and start recommending goals. So it just takes all that information from the survey and starts funneling out results and recommendations.
It's like magical. It's just that's what it feels like, where it's just like, well, the parent says, I'd love for them to learn how to pay for their own things. And it's like, oh, well, here's some math goals, and then here's the data and here's all the things. And it just feels magical. Like I'm a little jealous that we didn't have this,
Me too.
20 some years ago when I was in the classroom. Right. So parent survey is so very important. We know one of the other things that we're talking about here is that collaboration, including parents in this, every step of the way. And I love that. And parents have to be a leader and they have to do that. But the bottom line is we also have to make decisions based on data. Otherwise, it's just an opinion. I tell people all the time, it's kind of a red flag when you hear things like, I really feel that. And it's like, feelings are valid, but they're not solid enough to make big decisions on. So this data that we're talking about, how we're collecting it, what's going on, will you just share a little bit about some of the pieces that your team have found it's really important to be, looking at it?
Absolutely. So one of the things that it's very important, again, regardless of what software you have access to, but Polaris will put it together for you, is looking at our data in multiple lenses in mind. So when we talk about our IEP team, one of the biggest things that we'll pull it's surveys or what we call different types of checklists, so we can get an observational lens. Or profiles that give us an observational lens, but then we have assessments. So we have assessments in our other solutions. So Unique Learning System, for example, has benchmark and checkpoint assessments that talk about specific skills and how they're doing. And then Polaris has assessments built into it as well for preschool, high school kids, transition information, behavioral supports. Positivity will do that as well. It pulls in behavior data. But what it does is it will pull in that assessment data so you can get those, higher level baselines or information there. That again, that's just two lenses. We also know, and one of the things that I thought was so important when I was writing IEPs for my students is, it's great with that information, but I know my kids could probably do more during the day. I've seen more from them. So it also will take from the third lens is that student daily performance. So how are they doing on particular activities that target those areas that we may want to write a goal on? So it gathers all of that information together. And then from there, we'll make recommendations about which of the goals are really most important to address, which personally I really love. I found it slightly overwhelming when I had my students and I really want to work on this, and I know they need this and I know they need that, but really trying to narrow it down to determine what was most important for that year, what's obtainable, what would help move the needle, what helps them become most independent. So having that data and putting it in those, having all of those multiple lenses placed in one area is really important. Often what I find is, we've got our baseline data from an evaluation, and we'll start from there. But we really need to look at the wider picture, because again, what we know is our students can show us different things in different places and with different people. We hear that all the time. Our speech therapist goes, "Oh, he does that for me, but I can't ever get him to do it in class." So putting those things together are really important. On the flip side too, on the data piece, once you have your IEP goals, the data reporting out on that is also really important. I know we're always doing our little tally marks, but really taking the student performance that has to do with it as well, and seeing how they're doing daily. Polaris says that too on the other end.
Yes, and all of that is so critical to like set up the plan. So like, okay, we've got the people and we've got the data and we've got the collaboration and we're doing this. And then there's an implementation piece, and you need great tools to be able to do that. You and I were actually just chatting earlier that we have both had experience in the field using out of date materials, and it becomes very overwhelming to be updating things all the time. All right, so tell everybody the example that you were sharing with me.
So I was explaining, I'm a speech pathologist, and we used to have a articulation evaluation, and it was just as much our issue because we may not have bought the next more recent version, but in order to assess if they could say the sound, the F sound, there was a picture of an old rotary phone, and they had no idea what that was. So, making sure that those updated materials are there. I don't know if you wanted to share any more of yours, but, making sure that we have those visuals constantly updated is really important. And what we do here at n2y, and especially with Unique Learning System, where they have their core academics in transition, we review and update our graphics every year. So each year, all of the units that our teachers receive have been updated. And we've been doing some really great new updates recently, adding more photos, making sure our characters look more realistic. So it's been really fun to do. But yeah, we look for rotary phones and take those out.
Yeah. And I just kind of laugh about that. I said, you know what? Like, we watch reruns of Seinfeld and we're laughing at the things. We're like, oh my gosh. Like, if I sat my own children down and said, tell me what these things are, they would have no idea of so many things. I mean, there's like fax machines and it, like, come on. And I'm kind of making light of it, saying like, oh yeah, Seinfeld and reruns, but a lot of our materials that we're seeing in our school system, it's from that decade. It's from back then where we're seeing. So let's make sure that we are using updated materials. It's kind of like, do what you have to do. I hope that everybody comes over to n2y and Unique and Polaris, and it's like, click the button and it's done kind of thing. The bottom line is though, you got to throw the other ones in the garbage. Like I'm just going to say it, like, just get rid of it. You can't do it. All right. So let's talk about supporting our teachers and our parents too, because all of this process feels like well and good, and we're tired and we're exhausted and overwhelmed, and it's complicated, and college didn't teach teachers what they needed to know about the IEP system, and nobody handed a book to the parent. In a way, there's books out there, but like a manual that actually works, of like, here, this is how IEP meetings really work. There's a lot of moving pieces all the time. So you guys do that support too also.
We absolutely do. So we have an amazing team that has over 500 years of educational experience when you put this together, that really, sat down, listened to our districts, but also from our own experience, know that most of the time when there was an issue or there's an impasse, whether it's in the team or between other members, knowledge has a big part in that, and making sure everybody's supported and feels comfortable coming to that IEP team, and making sure that we consistently have that IEP meetup. It goes beyond the one day when we sign the plan. So what we do inside of Polaris is we provide in point of use inside of your natural progression to make your plan, supporting documentation. So if you're a brand new teacher, sometimes we're brand new teachers, we didn't, we're filling a need, And we didn't get trained at all on IEPs, but yes, we have to we have to do them. And it can be very, very intimidating because you don't want to do anything wrong or not follow the rules or do what's best for your students. So inside we have these really, really nice, easy to follow guides that are written, that explain how, as a parent, what is a present level of performance? How should I be participating in this? What information would be important for me to be able to share with the team so that I can be a good member? What's my expectations? And on the other side, as a brand new teacher, or as a teacher who needs just a little bit of reminding in an area, it will walk you through those too as well. So what is important? What's the important pieces of a SMART goal? Is this particular thing that I'm doing, am I writing it? Is it a SMART goal? Do I have all the pieces together? Why am I making a SMART goal? A lot of times we forget the why. It's that this is the rule, but if we understand the why behind it, then it's easier for us to adapt. So all of those things, those supporting documentation pieces are there. And then inside the solution itself, one of the things that I find most helpful is you've got great data sometimes, or you've got your tally marks on a particular goal that you're working on, but it's also the support of what do I do with it? So a lot of times it's, yes, okay, this student is having difficulty. I've tried scaffolding and doing it this way, or I have a goal that's addressing it, but we're not making headway. What do we do with it? So on the other side of it, there's also supporting materials that say, hey, this doesn't look like you're going to hit the goal, or we're going to master the goal before the end of your IEP year, that trend. Here's some things to try. So it's also helping with that type of support as well, and having that information that's so valuable that I'm like you, I want to go back to the classroom. I would have loved to have this for my kids.
I feel like I want that in life too, right? Like, I just want that, can we just make one of it? Can you guys develop that? So we could just be like, oh, here's my goal. And we can just gently say like, oh, this is not working. Please try these things instead.
For me, it would be, hey, Allie, put down that cake. That's not going to help you get your goal.
Like, if we have that extra cupcake, you will not meet your goal, right? Like, please try something else. Yeah, I could use that reminder for sure on that. So, all right. As always, one of the reasons that we meet up and we chat and we make sure everybody knows what's going on is because you guys always have new things coming out. I mean, this is something like, thank goodness, because I'm talking all the time how we're like stale in special education. There's a lot of stale things and just, we need to freshen things up and get some new solutions and things. And I know one of the kind of conceptions or I should say misconceptions, because we can adapt n2y, unique learning, all of these things for so many different ability levels, but n2y is going to make that even more evident. You guys have something on the horizon?
Yes. So stay tuned. We have a new solution launching in late summer, right before school starts. And it is built to target students who are in the resource or receiving skills-based targeted practice versus those that are on extended standards. So we're working on something new for that population and making sure that they have what they need to target their particular skills needs, whether it's learning recovery or they're just in need of building up and mastering some of those foundational skills to get them back on track and on target. Again, with everything else that we do, the great daily performance and scaffolded supports, they're going to have that performance poured over to positivity, so you can get that great visual and guidance on writing your goals and your suggestion or your IEP with the students in that population as well. But yeah, it's really engaging, it's interactive, and I'll just tease by saying one of the key differentiators for that group is they're often taught with computer-based instruction whenever they're doing skills remediation. So they're put on a computer and they're being instructed that way. This particular solution has a twist. So it's got a teacher-led and supportive component and a computer-based component together.
Ooh, so that's exciting. And anybody who knows like what she's talking about, like that's cool. So like it's kind of like ever since tech became such an integral part of education, it has been used for remediation. It's like you go to the reading room and it's a bunch of computers and you sit down, you log in, and like you're just there like clicking through things, and to know that there's a teacher-led option in there and some supports. That's going to be amazing. I can't wait. All right. So I'm just gonna, I'm going to do a little thing here and just brag about n2y for a minute. And if you guys are listening, if you are a parent, teacher, admin, or therapist, if you have ever considered just, logging in and figuring out what is n2y and could it help you, I'm going to encourage you to, if you're not going to reach out to them, reach out to us. And we have Master IEP coaches that use it every day, and they'll give you honest feedback of their favorites and what they love to use every day in that. And I also want to say thank you to n2y, because we get to do fun things for our Master IEP coaches, such as we've got a couple of things. Alli, we haven't even, I don't even think you know what's going on, kind of what n2y is kind of putting some sparkle into our IEP training. So in July in Milwaukee, we're going to have a sticker station with n2y and mugs, and we're designing our own swag and all of these things with n2y. So it's going to be super fun. So everybody's going to have all of their n2y and Master IEP Coach swag. We're doing that again in Orlando. So those that are coming to learn about IEPs in October in Orlando, which by the way includes a ticket to go to Islands of Adventure, because we're all going to do that together as parents.
I'm coming.
I know, right? And we're going to make IEPs like the most fun topic ever in education with this. So we'll have some n2y swag and all of those things with us in Orlando as we're going on our adventure out there. So just lots of different things where n2y, you're going to see them inside of our Master IEP Coach VIP weekends, inside of our online mentorship. They have been a strong supporter of every member of the IEP team, and that's your difference. And I just want to thank you for being there for everybody who's on the team.
Well, I would also say thank you for supporting all of the coaches that you have and those that are aspiring to complete your program to become coaches, because again, it just makes us stronger, knowledgeable, and help more children by putting, again, the fun back in IEPs.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got to look at this as an opportunity to truly change a child's future. When we have the right tools, we have the right people, we have the right motives behind us, we have the right, we have the drive to make this happen. I mean, it really can be magical. We really can put together solutions that weren't there when I was in the classroom, when you were in the classroom. It's kind of like sky's the limit. We don't know what's going to happen next, but I'm going to encourage everybody, again, go follow the links wherever you're watching this. Make sure that you like and comment and share and leave 5-star reviews. Help us get this information out to more parents and teachers who are working together to change special education for every child. So again, Alli, thank you for being here today.
It has been absolutely a pleasure. Thank you so much.